Hey freaks, it's JJ. Welcome to my channel. Today's episode is coming as a request. So if you guys don't know, as far as like if you are requesting a video that you want me to do, you can kind of like jump to the top of the list if you join my Metalhead community, and then from there you get access to my suggestion box. And I kind of try and prioritize those, and you know, sometimes I get them done sooner and sometimes later. Like this request came in ages ago and I'm so sorry it's taken so long for me to do it, but I do follow through on my promises. So this video was requested. The only thing it said was CD recommendations. So I was kind of trying to figure out what exactly to go with this video, because of course there's so many bands and so many albums that I could recommend, and I've talked about a lot of them on my channel as far as like, you know, my favorite bands go. But I think this video I kind of wanted to focus a little bit more on bands that I think just don't have enough following, like bands that are just criminally underrated and just deserve a bigger following for whatever reason. So this video is gonna be maybe some bands that you've not heard of, but like in no way am I like a part of like the underground metal scene, so don't expect anything like super underground on this list. It's just a list of bands I think deserve more attention and more love. So that's what this video is going to be about. Also, this video is definitely going to get demonetized because I will be playing little clips of music from each album here. So yeah, if you want to buy me a coffee, I recently started that thing if you want to do that. And also I will put links to all the albums down in the description if you want to check them out. I'll also make a little playlist too at the end where you can listen to the full song of each little clip that I play in this video. So let's get started. This is CD recommendations. And this is in no particular order, by the way. This is just kind of random order. Okay, first off, band I'm going to recommend is the band Mothership, and their self-titled album Mothership, which was released in 2012. So I found this band, I think they were just opening for another one of the bands that I wanted to see a few years back. I can't remember exactly what show it was. I guess they'd be called like stoner metal, I guess. Officially their title is like Intergalactic Heavy Rock, which is just cool in the first place. But they definitely have that like Black Sabbath feel to them, and I don't feel like a lot of other bands are making music like this right now. If you're not into like a lot of the death metal bands that I have on the rest of this list, then I suggest you check out this band. They're just an awesome heavy rock band. So here's a clip of the song Cosmic Rain off of their Mothership album.
This evil's mine, go to the grave.
Next, we have the band Well of Sacrifice. And so this band, I think I found them just by reading some random blog a few years back. But the thing that kind of drew me to them was their album artwork has, of course, like the Mayan pyramid on it. And at the time, my husband and I had just returned from our honeymoon, which we went on a cruise, and part of the like excursions that we went on was to Chichen Itza, where they of course have the Mayan pyramids. And you know, at the time I was like, oh cool, I was just there, you know, type of thing. So I automatically clicked on it just because I thought the artwork was cool and it was something that I was thinking about at the time. And so this band is incredible. They are a progressive death metal band, and they are criminally underrated. Like, you guys, they have 7 Spotify followers. It is so sad. Like, this band is incredible, and they deserve way more followers than that. I mean, I know, like, Spotify isn't exactly, like, the best way to quantify a band's following, but still, like, 7 Spotify listeners is awful. Like, just anyway, so this album, Primal Conquest, is a concept album just about different primal conquests, I guess. So, and just kind of explores how pretty metal history is. And so this song that I'm about to show you is called Obsidian Death, and it's about the Mayans and how they would do the like heart sacrifice, where they would rip the still beating heart out of one of the sacrifices. So that's what the song is about, and it's badass, and like history's pretty metal. I think they're supposed to be releasing another album here soon-ish or something, but sometimes I feel like I'm like their only fan because I'm the only one who like likes their Instagram posts and stuff. But yeah, go check them out. They definitely deserve more attention than they have. Next up, we have a band that you've probably heard of, and that band is Saxon. Of course, they were a part of the new wave of British heavy metal way back in the day. I think they were first founded in 1977. So definitely during that time of like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, like these guys were pretty big back in the day, but I don't know what happened, but they like fell off the map as far as like their fan base goes. Like they're just a fantastic old school metal band, and I don't know why they are not more popular than they are. Like, I went to go see them, I think back in 2019 or something like that, and they played the smallest venue in Nashville. The smallest, and I think there was less than 100 people in the audience. It was sad because these guys are so talented, and they're fantastic. I don't know what happened to their fan base, but they need to, make a resurgence. And so I'm recommending one of their newer albums called Thunderbolt. I think what they've done with this album is impressive in that, like, they're trying to bring, their old style and sort of make it new and appeal to a new audience. Like, the clip I'm about to show you is called Predator, and it is a collaboration they did with Johan Hegg, who of course is the vocalist of Amon Amarth, and so that has this new wave of British heavy metal mixed with like a death metal style as well. So it's a cool mashup, and I feel like this is how you stay relevant, in modern times. You experiment with new things and experiment with different styles, and I just don't understand why this band is not bigger than they are. Next up is a band called Sludge, and yeah, you guessed it, they are a sludge metal band. But the thing that is cool about them is they have a whole concept that goes behind their music, and they have this whole storyline. Basically, they sing about slugs, which is cool. Like, why not sing about slugs? And it's this whole I'm not sure exactly what the story is, but I know there's this sort of mascot called Mollusca that a lot of the, I think, stories and concept revolves around. But anyway, they're a sludge metal band about slugs, which is really cool, first of all. I think I just found them by reading some random blog about progressive metal bands. Anyway, the album I'm recommending is Esoteric Malacology, and yeah, I don't know, I just love when a band has like a gimmick of a certain subject matter or what have you. What other band is singing about slugs? I couldn't name one. Anyway, here is a clip of the song Salt Thrower. Next up, I have a melodic death metal band from the early 2000s, and that band is The Absence. The way I discovered this band was there's this really cool used bookstore and / used CD store here in Nashville, and sometimes I'll just like wander through the CD section and just pick out albums that have a metal-looking cover on them and just kind of roll the dice and be like, I'll try it out, see what it sounds like. So, a few years back, I found the album From Your Grave by The Absence, and I thought the cover was pretty metal looking. I didn't know what to expect at all, but I bought it, and I loved it. So this band only has like around 6,200 Spotify listeners, which, I mean, is more than, what I mentioned earlier with like Well of a Sacrifice, but still, this band has been around since 2002. Like, I think they deserve a way bigger following than that. So, it's just solid melodic death metal. And what really made me love this album is when I was learning to do harsh vocals a few years ago, and I was kind of practicing a lot of false chord techniques, I would use this album to sing along to. And it's great because he's the vocalist is really talented in that, like, you can understand what he's saying. He's very articulate with his harsh vocals, and also he has this really great, like, gravelly sound to his screams. So yeah, I really like this vocalist, and I really think that, you know, if you like melodic death metal, then you might like this band. And if you're trying to learn how to scream, then yeah, maybe this album will help you out like it helped me out. So the clip I'm going to play is from their 2005 album, From Your Grave, with the title track song, From Your Grave. Alright, next up we have the band called Universe in My Yard, which is a cool band name, first of all. I think I found this band through Instagram, actually, and I think they call themselves progressive deathcore, but they also have this, like, kind of like jazzy element to them as well. And again, criminally underrated. They have 18 Spotify followers. But again, they are a newer band. The album Holographic Sight came out in 2020. Also, side note, I also got to do an interview with them through Music Crusaders, which is the channel that I also interview bands through. So go check that out. I'll link that somewhere in the description or at the end of this video. But if you're curious about them, they're from Italy and they are extremely talented. So the song I'm recommending off of Holographic Sight is the song Meaningless Gaze. And if you listen to the whole thing, you can kind of hear sort of like the jazzy elements and the stuff they kind of play around with on this track and on this album. So I might not be able to fit it into this short clip, but yeah, definitely go listen to the full track.
We are now in the middle of the desert. My mind is fighting battles of illusion. Shut your fucking mouth, not be fine. I don't need to talk about it again. Robert and I will at my mess. I'm in now, I can't come down. It's done.
Next up, I have the band Raventhorn on the list. So they are a band from Russia, and they write concept albums, of course, so of course I like them. I have yet to cover any of their concept albums, but I do plan to sometime in the future. But I think I also found them maybe through Instagram. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. But they only have 77 Spotify followers, which I think deserves to have a much bigger following. They classify themselves as symphonic extreme metal. I think there's maybe a tiny bit of like black metal influences in there as well that you can hear. But they have written 2 albums, and both of them are concept albums. I think it's a continuous story between the 2 albums, but I'm not positive on that. I have to do some more research to confirm that. But I'm not sure exactly what the concept is about, but it sounds cool just based on, you know, listening to their albums. The story I imagine developing is really cool, at least in my imagination. I'll have to do more investigating and figure out exactly what the story is about before I cover that in a video. The album I'm suggesting is Shadows of Lone Hill, which was released in 2020, and I'm going to play a little clip of the song Descent. Next, we have the band Winds of Plague, which I'm sure if you are a fan of deathcore, you've probably heard of them. But like, what happened to them? Like, I feel like they were pretty big, you know, when they first came out, and then they just kind of, I don't know, the fan base sort of fizzled out. But yeah, they are symphonic deathcore, which is a great mashup. Like, I love anything you can add like the term symphonic in. Like, that's just an awesome combo. I discovered this band again, like at that UCD store I was talking about, and it was another one of the albums that I thought looked metal, and I just picked up. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that I loved this album. That album is Decimate the Weak, which was released in 2008. And yeah, I don't know, like they've been around since 2002, but I guess they just, I don't know, never took off, or they did, but they didn't continue to grow. But I just think that they deserve a way bigger following than what they have. So I'm going to show you a clip of the song Unbreakable off the album Decimate the Weak. Next up is a band I'm sure probably a lot of you have already heard of if you are a prog metal fan like I am, and that band is Neobliviscaris. And they are probably one of my top favorite bands of all time. They only have 3 albums out, and I think they're supposedly releasing another one here fairly soon, but this band is absolutely incredible, and I know their following is growing pretty well, but I still think that they are underrated by, you know, the general metalhead community, because just everything they make is absolutely perfect. They have the death metal vocals, and then they also have clean vocals, and they have the clean vocalist also plays the violin, so they have this like lightness of like the clean vocalist and his violin, and that is complemented by like the darkness of the harsh vocalist. And so it's just this mashup that's like the perfect blend of light and dark, and it just, I don't know, it's just perfection in my opinion. So all they need to do is write concept albums, and I am like, they're going to shoot to the top of my like favorite band lists. Anyway, I know a lot of people prefer the album Portal of Eye, but I actually prefer the album Earn, which was released in 2017, which is their newest release so far. And yeah, I love this album so much. Whenever I'm having like a bad day, like this is one of the bands that I turn to. And so yeah, I'm just going to show you a clip of the song Intravenous, which is probably like their more commercially successful songs, just for you guys to get a taste of what they're like.
Shadows all entwining their distant sights, weaving the room, dwellers in the deep, drifting low.
Next, we have the band Gwar, and I'm sure probably most of you have at least heard of the band Gwar, but they're not nearly as big as I think that they should be. Like, they should be just selling out, you know, arenas and stuff. They are so good at what they do, and they're the only ones who really do it, or they are at least the first ones who do it. So yeah, Gwar is that band that dresses up in the awesome, crazy costumes, and they shoot blood and slime and stuff at the audience. So if you heard anything about that, like, that's Gwar. That's what they do, and they do it so well. It's like half music, half performance art, and it's just everything. They commit fully to this whole concept that they have, this whole story of them being like aliens, and like it's just everything is done with so much commitment, and it's just, I don't know, they're just such a fantastic band. I got to see them recently live for the first time, and it was one of my favorite concert experiences of all time. Like, it was just so much fun, and I don't know why they're not bigger than they are. Like, I know most metalheads have at least heard of Gwar, but I don't think a lot of metalheads are like huge fans of Gwar, which I think that they should be. So yeah, the band's been around for a really long time, and although they had their lead singer pass away, their new lead singer, which was a member of the band way back in the day, he's fantastic. And yeah, the album I'm going to recommend to you guys is Beyond Hell, which is one of their like more metal albums. Like, they do a lot of different genres, and they kind of cross over in a lot of different styles, a lot of it being more like punk based, but the album Beyond Hell is definitely more of a metal album. So I'm going to recommend this album, and I'm going to show you guys a quick clip of the song Eighth Log.
Nowhere to go, nothing to do, nowhere to know. Ain't lost. Nothing will live, nothing will grow. No one will care, no one will know. Ain't lost, you never can win. You only get down by not knowing you. That's what me.
then last but not least, we have the band Necrogoblikon, which I have recently fallen in love with. This band is just everything that I didn't know existed that needed to exist in the music world. Alright, let me start off with how I discovered this band. So, first of all, I have a coworker who's also a metalhead, and he suggested that I go check out the band Necrogoblikon. And I was like, yeah, sure, I will. I'll check them out. And then I kind of just forgot and just never really got around to it. And then I was going to go see Gwar, and I looked at the lineup, and I was like, oh, cool, this band Necrogoblikon is opening up for them. And I was like, yeah, I definitely, I remembered that my coworker had suggested them to me. But I was like, yeah, I'll look them up in a little bit. I was busy, for a little while. And then I was like, the week before the show, I was like, all right, fine. I'm finally going to look into Necrogoblikon. And holy shit, they are so fantastic. Okay, first of all, you guys know I love a gimmick and I love storylines and I love just the full dedication to performance art. And so they have a goblin, and a lot of their songs are actually just based around goblins, and that's just their whole thing is goblins, which is really cool, first of all. And then they have this sort of mascot character. His name is John Goblikon, and he goes on tour with them and dances around on the stage, and all their music videos kind of center around him, and it's so much fun, and their music is so good. The way I would describe their music is death metal meets musical theater. It's so good. It's so fun, and they're definitely not a super serious band, and they like to have fun with their songwriting and their stage performance. I'm here for it all. So yeah, the album I'm suggesting is Fundamental Slimes and Humors, which is their latest album released this year in 2022. And yeah, it's just everything. I love their whole discography. So it was kind of hard for me to pick one specific album, but yeah, this band is so good. You guys really need to check them out if you're into anything death metal or weird or goofy or different. So yeah, this song I'm going to show you a clip of is called Going to Die.
Woke up this morning, wanted to die, just like every other day. So I took some poison I got from some guy whom I found on Craigslist. Then I emailed my family to say.
So that's it for this list. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you go and check out some of these bands. Because, yeah, I really think they deserve a bigger following. And, yeah, check out the playlist I'm going to link at the end of this video or down in the description or both or something, which has the full song of each of the clips that I've shown you guys. So, yeah, go check them out. And then also drop down in the comments and let me know, what other bands you think are underrated that people should look up, or, just what some album recommendations of your own. Drop all that down in the comments and let me know what you think of these bands that I've recommended. So yes, thank you so much for whoever suggested this video. I don't know who you are because the submission was anonymous, but thank you for suggesting this, and I'm sorry it's taken so long for me to do it, but here it is. And thank you all so much for watching. Till next time.